Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was a famous writer who lived in the 19th century. He was born on February 7th, 1812 in England. He had a very interesting and adventurous life. When Charles was a young boy, his family didn't have a lot of money. They had some financial troubles, and when Charles was just 12 years old, his father was sent to prison because he couldn't pay his debts. This was a difficult time for Charles and his family. To help support his family, Charles had to leave school and work in a factory. He had to work long hours in a dirty and dangerous place. But even though it was a tough life, Charles loved reading and learning. He'd often borrow books from the library and read them late into the night. When Charles grew up, he became a writer. He wrote many famous books that are still loved today. Some of the most famous ones include Oliver Twist, A Christmas Carol, and Great Expectations. These books were about the lives of ordinary people in England during that time. Charles Dickens was a very talented writer. He had a special way of describing people and places that made his stories come alive. His books were not only entertaining, but they also showed the problems and injustices in society. He wanted to make people aware of the struggles of the poor and inspire them to make a difference. Charles Dickens became very popular and successful. He travelled around the world and gave readings of his books to large audiences. People loved his stories and characters, and he became one of the most famous writers of his time. Charles Dickens passed away on June 9th, 1870, but his books continue to be loved by people of all ages. His stories have been adapted into movies, plays, and even cartoons. He's remembered as one of the greatest writers in English literature. So the next time you read a book by Charles Dickens or watch a movie based on his stories, remember the incredible life of a man behind the words. Charles Dickens used his talent to entertain and educate people, and his stories continue to inspire us today.